Let's take our next story now. And teenage pregnancy has been a topical social issue that Ghana has battled over the years. According to the Ghana Health Service, 109,088 teenage pregnancies were recorded in 2020 alone. These frightening figures have left many Ghanaians to believe nothing is being done to tackle the issue. But sexual and reproductive health and rights activist Aurelia Sowah-Mensah, in her own small way, is steadily changing the narrative here in the Greater Accra region.
Buzzers were life, but beyond the vibrant lifestyles are seething social issues gradually sinking the community. Teenage pregnancy is one of the many social issues it battles with.
The sad part is how they get pregnant. Some people resort to unsafe abortions, and in the worst case scenario, they die.
That is Aurelia Sowah-Mensah. She's 27 years, born and bred in La. She has lived all her life here. She spends her time engaging young people on sexual reproductive health to help control birth in the La community.
Others get pregnant, have the child, and because there's really no money at home or there isn't enough money at home, she would have to drop out of school, take care of the child. That child will grow to a certain stage, also become a teen mother, and then the cycle continues.
The lives of many young girls in this neighborhood are changed forever because of unplanned pregnancies.
I
wanted to be a nurse, but because I gave birth, my dreams were crushed.
Christiana Ai is 26 years old. She had her first baby when she was 16 years old. Now, the mother of two, she has asked I hide her identity.
I was just 19 years when I delivered my second child. I went through hell after that. It wasn't easy at all. I worked with someone who paid me 5 cedis per day. That amount is woefully inadequate, but I had to manage because I had a child on the way. Now, I work at the Makola market. It's just by grace I survive each day.
Aurelia takes time to visit the homes of young girls in her community to educate them on sexual reproductive health.
Most of the time, they don't know what they are doing because some of them are from poor backgrounds. Some of them I think some of them use sex as a source of entertainment. There's no TV at home. How many playgrounds we have in Accra? There are no playgrounds. Some parents can't afford to take their children to the library, to, all those recreational stuff. And so that is their source of entertainment. And so if we can give them the right information, when they go out there, we know, oh, I have given this child this information, so I can trust that she'll make the right decision. And if ever she made a mistake, at least she will know who to go to.
Renelle Lamte is also a teenager who has recently given birth to twins. Aurelia has convinced yet another person to sign onto a family planning method.
So I will not force you, but I will advise you to go on a family planning method. There's the usage of condoms. That one is safer because it prevents both STIs and unplanned pregnancies.
For her work, Aurelia is one of 50 awardees chosen from around the world as speakers in the upcoming 2022 International Conference on Family Planning.
And it also means more work because if you've been recognized as someone who is really doing well in the family planning community or in the sexual and reproductive health and rights community, it means there's more work for you to be done.
teenage pregnancy is still a big problem in Aurelia's community. But with a new opportunity to learn more and gain resources through this program, she hopes to be a stronger voice that helps to change the narrative. Amma Kromo's report for JoyNews.
Well, let's have a conversation with Aurelia, who is behind this project. Aurelia, do tell us, you have actually embarked on this project. What is the motivation behind embarking on this drive?
Hi, and thank you for having me. So I think my motivation is basically because I grew up in a very liberal home, and my mom and everyone else around me gave us the information that at the time we needed. For now, we need more, but at the time, they gave us the information that we needed. And I happened to grow up in a community where lots of people didn't get the same information that I was. And so everyone around me was either pregnant at a very young age, a few of them that, you know how it was like, you hear this girl got an abortion, this girl got an unsafe abortion, and all that. And a few people that you hear about, they are pregnant, they got an unsafe abortion, they died, and all. And so I was fortunate to get the information. And if I have an education with all that extra information, I don't really know why I should sit back and watch other people drown when we can basically help each other.
In other words, you're going to or trying to prevent others from going through something that is indeed avoidable. But how widespread is the problem in your area? It's Labadi. How widespread is it in your community?
It really is widespread. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 7.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you would say 7.
I would say 7. Because 1 minute you see a teenager pregnant, she has the baby, she drops out of school. 2 years later, that same teenager, because she never went back to school, she really is idle. So she will have another safe sex, unprotected sex, and then gets pregnant again. So you see someone at the age of 20 with 2 kids already, not working, not in school, and then her children are highly likely not going back to school because she can't afford it. And sometimes it is with a man who didn't take responsibility. And so she's in trouble. It keeps happening. And even for adults, there are adults who have unplanned pregnancies, unintended pregnancies. They just happen to get pregnant and they really don't know what to do. You'll be surprised they are older than me who don't have the information. And we can't blame them. They didn't get the information they deserved.
So looking at all these things you're mentioning, you've already started talking about the causes. So there are financial bits in there and sometimes irresponsible parenting, from what I gather.
Yes.
What other causes do you see?
Well, I think the media has a role to play. I mean, young people we consume a lot of things from media. And so if, instead of feeding us with all this, I won't say they are bad, but it depends on the timing and everything of what is being shown on TV. And so if the media can feed us with some comprehensive sexuality education, young people, we are always on our phone, we are always watching TV, we are always on YouTube. I mean, we should do something. And also our churches. Our churches are not giving us what we need. Our churches keep saying abstain from sex, abstain from sex. Abstinence is perfect. But do we really know what young people are doing out there? Not every young person has that kind of willpower to abstain. Let's have the right information. Tell us what to do in case we don't abstain, in case we cannot abstain. Because even if the parents are not doing their job, these children come to church. Today they are going for choir practice. Tomorrow they are going for this. Today they are going for that. Right. And then there's the school, the teachers. Teachers will prevent an advocate like myself and my colleagues from speaking about comprehensive sexuality education or sexual and reproductive health and rights because yes, and I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. We are being fed a lot of information on a daily basis. Now, what to do with that information is the problem. And we want to tell these children what to consume and what not to consume, and also what to do with what they consume. But yes, that's basically how they put it. Let's be honest with ourselves.
So finally, to you, Aurelia, beyond what you're doing in your community, what more are you looking forward to the government, maybe the Ministry for Gender, Women, Social Protection, doing to ensure that we can stem the tide of teenage pregnancies?
Well, I think for starters, we should try and get children off the streets, because 50% of the children we see begging for alms, they end up getting pregnant. They can't take care of themselves. How are they supposed to take care of their babies? To get the children off the streets in one way or the other, give them some skills training, some vocational training, and others. And then we can focus on how to take care of them. Because if they are still on the street, there's really no way we can take care of them. Then those who are in school, if care is not taken, they will end up on the streets because they are in school and they are not getting the information they need, the information we should be giving them. And also there are organizations that I have volunteered for, that I have worked for. A friend of mine is working on a project, and we call it My Teen Life, myself and my friend. And we are doing our best, but really there's no funding.
Right.
And so we have to take money from our pockets or from our friends and do with what we can with that money. So if we get 1,000 CDs, that 1,000 CDs can reach about 300 children or 100 children. We work with that, and that is not enough. There are lots of organizations,
right,
from young people like myself. We are trying our best, but there's no funding. And so if there are ways to fund organizations like My Teen Life and all, we would be grateful.
Aurelia, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, and all the best on that project. Aurelia Sowah-Mensah there.